Good morning, students. This is the time for computer class, and I am your computer teacher. So, we are continuing the lesson cyber safety. So, now in this lesson, today we are going to discuss about the intellectual property rights. So, what does the term intellectual property rights refer to? The term intellectual property rights refer to the creation of mind. It means which we can have both moral and commercial value. So intellectual property, we can say it is a property in which which is generally developed by the human, and it is a human creation. So generally there are two types of intellectual property. The first is the literary source and artistic source, literary and artistic, and the second is the industrial property. So we generally have two distinct forms. The first is the literary and artistic, and the second is the industrial property. So what does the intellectual property grant? The intellectual property generally grants the right to work on literary, musical, artistic works, etc. So the different types of intellectual property right are: number one, patent. So many of the times we have heard the word patent. So what is patent? We can say it is a legal document that gives the sole right to make, to sell, or to use an invention. So a person or a group of person or an organization or a company can get their inventions covered under patent to protect it from the unauthorized use, so that those company or those organization or those person can use that invention to whom they can give the permissions. So this is patent. It is a legal document which gives the sole right to make, sell, or use an invention. Next that we have is trademark. So what is trademark? We can say a logo or a symbol that is printed on business item. So to make it exclusive, it is known as trademark. So a trademark is generally valid for 10 years, and after 10 years the company or the organization have to again renew it. And the third is the copyright. So what is copyright? We can say that it is a right that is granted by the law to the creator for the original work that he or she has created or the company has created. The right here concerns a copy of any product that is reserved by the writer or the company that has published the work. So we can say that the copyright are the rights which are granted by the laws to the persons, to the organizations who has created his work. The copyright covers literary and the artistic establishment, like the books, the plays, the novels, the articles, etc. So these were the three different types of intellectual rights: patent, trademarks, and copyright. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss over here is digital footprint. So what is digital footprint? We can say that the term digital footprint generally describes the footprint that the people lives online. Footprints means there's some type of informations that are left on online. So the information which is transmitted online can be the form of registrations, email, uploading videos, digital images, etc. So all the informations generally leaves the traces means leaves some particular information about the persons that are available to the others who are online. So there are two main types of digital footprint. The first is the passive and the second is the active. So in short, we can say that the digital footprint are the footprints that are left by the people online. So they can be left in the form of registration, emails attachment, uploadings, digital images, etc. So the two main types of digital footprint are passive and active. So what is passive digital footprint? So it is created when the data is collected without the user knowledge. The passive digital footprint can be stored in many ways depending upon the situations. So it is created when the data is collected without the owner's knowledge, and the active digital footprint are created when the user shares their information by using a website. So the active digital footprint can also be stored in a way that is depending upon the situations. So in passive, the footprint is created without the user's knowledge, and in active, the footprints are created by the users when they share the informations using a website or social medias. So these were the two different types of digital footprints. So one has to be very careful when they are working on online so that they do not leave any digital footprint. Otherwise, the peoples of bad impressions or bad nature can take the advantage of that. Now, the next topic that we are going to discuss over here is social networking and information security provision. Social networking and information security provisions. So social networking is a very common method that is used by many of the people. So most of the people generally use the social networking sites like say we can say there are different social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. So we generally have an account on the social networking websites, and we interact with our family, with our friends, with the help of social networking. We post our documents, images, videos, etc. So these websites are useful to stay connected with our friends and family. But remember, the information that are shared on these websites is very vulnerable. So we should be very careful whenever we post anything on these sites. Information security has become a serious concern nowadays because the owners of these websites can use the information and can many of the times they blackmail the persons or misuse it and can even use to sell their advertisements. So nowadays one should use the social network very carefully and should not post or send anything that are not genuine or can harm the impressions or thinkings of others. They also can get into the troubles whenever they do this type of mischievous activities. So what are the security concerns while posting on the social media? First of all, usually you share your information like special days, like birth date, anniversary date, etc. So the hackers generally use this type of information to break into a system and to steal your documents. So there were also chances that people can download and can steal your pictures. Many of the times the sites ask you about your GPS, about your locations, so never tell them. So sometimes you post your official and professional informations that can be misused, and there are also chances that the people can hack your social medias. Even the social networking websites, the owner of these websites are the private companies and they can use it for their own profit. So how to keep the information safe while networking? First of all, do not post personal informations. Do not disclose any official information. Do not allow the websites to know about your location. Turn off the GPS. Be very careful while working on the social media. Delete your password and browse history. Do not be friends with the strangers on the networking websites. Do not post frequent updates telling about the information that you have like travel plan, locations, etc. Use strong password so that they cannot be broken. And next, the privacy setting of the social media should be understood and it should be kept safe. Do not disclose your personal information like login, password, bank account, even to your friends. The next topic that we are going to discuss over here is information security provision in e-commerce. The short form is ICT. Information the security provision in e-commerce. So ICT has made our lives very simple by providing us many comforts and benefits. E-commerce is one of the examples. So the branch of ICT generally allows to sell or buy things, and this thing is known as e-commerce. E-commerce means electronic commerce. We have many websites like Flipkart, Quicker.com, OLX, in which we can buy or sell the products. We do not have to go house to sell the products. So it is generally regarded as the sales and the commercial function of an e-business. So the e-commerce not only covers the buying and selling, but rather a different type of commercial activities also done over here, like the chain management, internet marketing, online transactions, the electronic fund transfer, etc. All these are done on e-commerce. So we can say that the ICT has generally made our lives very easy. We do not have to go outside, and we can, by sitting at a one place only, can buy the things or can sell our product, can do our advertisement, can perform our business. So what are the requirements for the safe e-commerce transaction? So first of all, there are many security concerns that prevent the people to take the maximum benefit. Security is one of the things, and remember, a client can lose faith in e-business if the security is harmed. So the first fundamental requirement for e-commerce is confidentiality. The first requirement is confidentiality. So at the time of buying the objects online, we generally many of the times we are asked to enter our personal information, like the name, the delivery address, the credit card, the debit card, etc. So such information should be kept very secret by the organizations which are performing the online business, and they should not provide this information to the unauthorized persons, because the hackers can use it for their own benefit. The next important requirement is integrity. Integrity. So what does the term integrity means? It means the information should not be hampered or changed during the transmission over the network. For example, suppose you are making a payment of 2000 using your credit or debit card, then 2000 should be only deducted from the account. This should not change. The third is the encryption. The third is the encryption. So the information should be encrypted and decrypted way, so that only the users can provide it. Fourth is the availability. Fourth is the availability. So as the e-commerce is very crucial, so the informations about how a transaction should be made should be available on time. The delay in providing the thing that is required by the customers can create our loss in the business. And the last is the authenticity. Authenticity. So authenticity means it is an important requirement. Only the authorized person should be allowed to provide the necessary information. The unauthorized person can steal your information, can misuse it. So the authenticity about the organization or the company with whom you are performing the business or you are going to purchase the thing should be first of all confirmed. Then only the business should be conducted. So now the measures to ensure the security during the e-commerce. So the security is one of the main concerns when it comes to the topic of e-commerce. So like online banking, the credit or debit cards and the Paytms, etc. So here the money is generally transferred from one to another. So first of all, we should be very careful while performing the banking or the money transaction on the e-commerce. So the security measures that can ensure the security over here is, first of all, encryption. First of all that we have is encryption. So what is encryption? We can say that it is a security technique to protect our data over the internet. So here the simple text is converted into the ciphertext. Ciphertext means that the words are generally changed over here. Like suppose you have written the word hello. So we can write it OHELL. So in this way, the hackers or the crackers, even they steal your data, they will not be able to understand it properly. Or moreover, the secret code can also be generated over here, and then it can be decrypted by the person, a genuine person to whom you are sending the data. The second is the digital signature and the security certificate. The second is the digital signature. So what is digital signature? We can say that it is a form of electronic signature that authenticates the document or transaction through encryption and password. So the digital signature should be encouraged when we are working on the online. And the third is the security protocol over the internet. So there are different security protocols like SSL, security socket lawyers, SHTTP, secure hypertext transfer protocols, etc. So these are available over the internet that ensures our security during the e-commerce transactions. So these were some of the security measures while doing the work on e-commerce. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss is staying safe in cyber world. Staying safe in cyber world. So what are the things that we should do over here in cyber world? First of all, the password should not be very simple. Never allow verify your friends or followers who are requesting you. Verify the links or attachment or downloads. Try to find chat rooms. Do reflect your personal interest. Always follows your instinct. So never give your password or such type of things to the persons even whom you know. So don't generally contact with the strangers over here. Use HTTP to connect the networking sites whenever possible. So what are the things that we don't do, that we should not do over the internet? So the first is that don't give your password over here. So in the do's, remember, you always use complex. I am again going to discuss about the do's. Remember here, always use complex password. Use HTTP protocol. So always verify your friends. So verify the links or attachment or download or email that you are sending, or before opening, verify them. So read the security tips that are provided to you. So always follow your instincts and try to find the chat room where you can have your personal discussion or debates over here. So what are the things that we should not do? Don't give your password to any of the persons. Don't write extra informations. Don't advertise where you are going, your secret plans or details. Don't upload anything that you do not want the other to say. Don't share your personal informations like phone number, school name, last name. Don't download anything that you don't have much information or you don't have much knowledge about that website. It can lead to a virus in your system. Remember over here, chatting online is for fun. Don't forget that. So if the topic is not of your interest, leave the chat and don't post any personal pictures over here. So these are some of the things that we should not do while working online. Now whenever, even by many of the times, the people get into the cyber crimes. So there is no doubt that saying that internet and communication technology has brought a revolution. So the people now almost use internet for doing their day-to-day tasks like paying bills, shopping, banking transactions, etc. So due to the continuous increase of internet and networking, so new set of crime has developed, and this is known as cyber crimes, like stealing passwords, stealing the credit card numbers, online banking details, etc. So one should be very careful while working on the internet or using the network facilities. Remember, we should not be a bystander, because other day we can also be the victim of cyber crime. So whenever you find anyone who has been in the cyber, who has been in the cyber crimes activities, so remember, though, if they have suffered from the cyber crime activities, so try to help them as much as possible. Do not get involved with those persons who are generally does the cyber crimes by knowingly, or by their main motive is to harm the other. Remember, if a person unknowingly gets into the cyber crimes, then it is in another way. But if someone gets into the cyber crimes knowingly and it wants to harm the others' activities or want to steal the details like hackers and crackers do, so get away from those persons. So never try to indulge with those persons or try to make friendship with those persons. So one should not be a bystander. So if one has been a victim of cybercrime, so report to the cyber cells which are in different parts of India about the cyber crimes. So cyber cell operates at region, state, country levels, etc. There are many different links for the cyber crimes which we can get, and there are helpline numbers for the cyber cells also where we can report our cyber crimes. So remember, the cyber crimes are nowadays very common thing, and the people who are working on the internet or the networks generally have to face such type of activities. So be cautious while working on the networking environment or on the internet. And if you have any type of if you have faced any type of such activities, ask to your tell this about to your parents, about to your elders, and report to the cyber cell immediately. Don't hesitate to do so. So this was all about the topic, the cyber safety. So here the chapter is over, students. So I will be sending the question answers and the exercise very soon. Thank you.